Well, as the countdown to the 2023 general election begins, new youth political parties are springing up, while the big parties are starting the campaign for youth inclusion and technocrats in the next cycle of elections. Well, at the inauguration of the People's Democratic Party's National Reconciliation and Strategic Committee, former Senate President Bukola Saraki promised that his party will welcome with open arms political stakeholders, youths, businessmen, among others, to its fold. Well, joining us now to speak on this is communication specialist and youth activist Seun Awogbenle. Thank you for joining us, Seun. If you can give us a bit more clarity on what that actually means, because I think at a time like this, you do feel as though lots of big words are thrown around by politicians and we don't really know what they're supposed to mean. So if you could start with, okay, we've had a situation where the youth have been able to find their voice after long last, and they're calling for a lot more accountability that we're already seeing, and they're calling for a seat at the table so that they can have a stake in their own future. Is this what Bukola Saraki is promising with the PDP?
Well, absolutely. I mean, you can't actually expect anything other than that. I mean, it is a realization that more than 1/4 of this country's population, about 60 million people, are made up of young people. I mean, Nigeria has a viral youth population. The young people they are enterprising, they are vibrant, and they are innovative. So it is a realization that the political reality needs to reflect our demographic reality, as it were. And I think that's essentially what mainstream political parties like the PDP is equally trying to do. The truth is that you cannot move forward when, for a very long time, young people have actually been excluded, from politics, from governance. Almost everything that you can look at, I mean, almost on all basis of measurement, young people have been excluded. Now, what young people are saying, I mean, for me, is that we're not actually saying that we want to displace the old order. No, that's not what young people are saying. But, I mean, because obviously it can't be a we versus them. But what we are calling for is an admission that for a long time, young people have been excluded, and that going forward, we're going to do everything possible to ensure that we lift or we try to set aside all artificial barriers that have actually kept young people away from full participation in the political process for a long time. And I think that is just, it's just as simple as that. I mean, it is even ridiculous that you look at some political parties and then they say you have youth leaders, and then youth leaders are, at the age of 53, 45. Those are not young people. And even by AU standard, I think young people are just between the ages of 15 and 35. So we are saying that the truly young people, the priorities of government should reflect them. And it's not just in politics or in governance, but also in the policies of government, right? The policies of government should prioritize human capital development, the things that, investments that hopes to provide opportunities for young people, right? Investment in education should be priority. Investment in health should be priority. Enabling business environment for young people who are enterprising and who are entrepreneurship to be able to, apply their business and doing very well should also be prioritized. So basically, it is the admission of all of those things that, now young people are saying that we're not going to move forward until you admit that for a long time we have been excluded.
Okay, Seun, whilst we clearly agree, most people would clearly agree with those things you stated, permit me to just say that some would be skeptical about PDP's position on this, and maybe even frame it as political opportunism. If you look at the fact that they're claiming, and one of the things they wrote was that the youth would be the driving force behind PDP. And some would argue, why behind? They should actually be at the front. So could this not be tokenism? Because PDP, APC, what have they done with the youth in their midst up till now? So, are we looking for a facelift, or are we looking for something more fundamental than that?
Well, I want to believe that it's actually something more fundamental than that. And I think perhaps this is the first time in a long while that you see mainstream political parties begin to make promises like this one, right? So I want to believe it is something even more fundamental, than just revisionism. But the truth is that even mainstream political parties can now admit that you can't move forward. You need the young population. There are about 60 million of this. They have the numbers. They don't just have the numbers. We as young people, we don't just have the numbers. We have a new kind of power, which is also social media on our side, right? The truth is that, what's it called? Vision is the purview of young people. Presently, the vision that Nigeria is running on has expired. You need young people to craft an entirely new vision for this country. And it is just as simple as that. And that is why I want to believe that it is something more fundamental, right? Whatever you have today, what we have today as governance in this country is not working, right? But then we are not even saying that it is on the basis of our age that we should be given opportunity. No. What we are saying is that, can you please lift all forms of artificial barriers, including the heavy or over monetization of the process that have actually kept young people with ideas? Now, what we are simply saying is that it is not about our age at this point. It is about the age of our ideas. And that is what, the political gladiators should actually should admit. So I want to believe that it's something more fundamental than just perhaps giving us, youth leaders and having commissioners for youth. And I mean, young people can actually lead this country. Young people can be president. Young people can be governors. Young people, and then, I mean...
Indeed.
Okay.
Seun, let me comment there. I like the phrase, age of ideas.
Right.
That's quite interesting. But Seun, between you and I, that power is never thrust into anybody's hands. So I'm wondering, you, the youths, have to be ready. You have to be prepared. There's the question then of mentoring these youths by these political leaders. And then what kind of mentoring are these youths guessing from these political leaders? You know how they say that you have to learn the ropes.
Well, absolutely. And that was why I started, in the first question that she asked me, and I said, what we are saying now is that we're not even saying that, we're not making it a we versus them, right? In fact, we're not trying to displace the old political order. What we are calling for is an intergenerational cooperation, right? We're saying that, we are young people. We have been excluded for a long time. Now, can you begin to yield a bit of spaces for us? Now, power is never given on a platter, and we understand that. And that's why a lot of us are beginning to show interest that, we have the capacity, we have the education, we have the competence, and we have the requisite requirement to also lead this country as young people. But the truth is that we need the support of the whole order as well. Because without them, we need their wisdom, and their sage. No matter how energetic or how vibrant we are as young people, we definitely need, the old ones as well.
All right, Seun Awogbenle, thank you. Spoken so well. Interesting. Wish you the best.